he's told some funny stories. Like one time when he was working on a project with his family, and I think he was working at his brother's house, and one of his nephews was younger doing some work. They were doing a project and his nephew fell through the attic like while they were working. So he's always got a funny story.
Yeah.
So, and he,
Is that a picture of our new sponsors, Milk Duds?
Yeah, no.
Oh, they're not. They're not sponsoring the original Father-Son
Not yet.
voiceover podcast.
Nope. But they are on our price table.
But
That's where I snatched that from.
we do have an actual, real, live sponsor. That's right. We've been
Partnering with somebody.
We've been begging, cajoling,
Conniving, not
whimpering
conniving.
like pups, trying to get spot. We haven't really. We've been happy to do like reverse sponsors for Wick and
Katie Blair Shear, second chapter resale.
Handlebar Performance.
RVR services.
1855 coffee. All of these. Willie's Repair. Just all of these. We're happy to do it because we're part of the community and they are too. And we're glad to, talk about their businesses. But we do have a real live sponsor for the original Father-Son voiceover podcast, and we are excited to tell people about that. Mm-hmm. We also are going to have the second edition of our new
Roy's our boy.
Roy from Elroy.
Yeah,
our
exciting
little
adventures.
Puppy.
Yeah.
And we'll give you an update on that. We'll show you some videos. Maybe he'll make an appearance again. We'll see how he's behaving.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ryan Doescher back, and he's going to talk about his growing up years. I had the privilege of coaching him when he was in 7th grade, so we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about some other things. So that was great last week. He talked about his house, and his wife, and people you guys really took off with that. A lot of people watched it, and we thank you for that. This week we're going to have more pictures.
Yes, this week we're going to have more pictures of the house. We weren't able to get them on, which isn't a problem. We just thought we'd show some more detailed pictures. I think of the building going up with all the studs and rafters or whatever it is that were put up.
Yeah,
I'm not a builder. I don't know what they are. All the stuff before it was all built, and then maybe some more stuff. So
yeah, and then what else we got? The wheel.
We'll do the Wonder Wheel. Yeah.
We'll do that this week, and we'll have Mazomanie Site-Wise as usual. Wisconsinites Weekly. And that'll pretty much do it. Oh, we have another exciting announcement along with the announcement of a
sponsor. They go hand in hand together.
Yeah, kind of the same deal.
Yep. So we'll probably get the boys up here and we'll get started.
Yeah. Why? What are we waiting for?
I don't know.
That's what they're asking. What are we waiting for? Why
we didn't come here to see you guys.
Why are we
came here to see Ryan?
Yeah,
that's what they're here to see.
Well, yeah. I mean that did honestly prove that we're here to see Ryan. But he's coming up soon, so just. Relax.
Hold your horses.
Hey, this is Bill DeWeese, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son voiceover podcast.
The gang is all here for episode 43. Forgot to put our camera in the right spot. Here we are. I'm here. I'm Todd. Drew's right to my right. He's going to be taking the week off, not from the podcast, but from State Facts and This Day in History. And we're going to be doing the Wonder Wheel for our last segment. Joe's over there at Information Central.
Information Station.
Yep. And Hudson, our executive producer, the man in charge.
The tyrant.
The one who pulls the strings and makes the big decisions. He is sitting there, and Big John's here as well. And this is episode 43, and we've got, coming up in just a moment, we've got Mazomanie Site-Wise and Wisconsinites Weekly flip that around. Usually Wisconsinites Weekly, and then Mazomania Sitewise. We've got a new feature. It's not new, but we
flashed it last week.
Last week, but it's new. I mean,
continuing.
It's quite new. And then we've got part 2 of Ryan Doescher's record-breaking.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's
soaring.
Boom. He's the number of views. We are at 299
Might have to ask
as we speak, and that's just 2 days in. So
might have to be that 300th viewer. That's what I say.
Yep.
You don't win anything, but
might have to ask Ryan to promote every single podcast. He did say, Ryan, if you're watching, he said that he and his family watched our podcast the other night, and that his wife and his kids loved it.
Nice.
So we've got part 2 of his interview. And then after that, we're going to have the Wheel of Wonder.
The Wonder Wheel.
Yeah. So that's what we've got going. And we've got some exciting news as part of Mazomania Sitewise. I'm going to bring that to the table in just a moment. So let's get to it, huh, Hudson?
Yeah. Let's jump into it.
All right, Wisconsinites Weekly. The boys basketball team is...
I'm not sure people might be able to hear you as
well. That's not good radio etiquette either. Or
you got a tea in your golfing tee in his mouth.
That's because I was out on the links today.
But why do you have a tea in your mouth?
I'm teeing up this.
I see.
Wisconsinites Weekly segment.
All right,
boy.
Corny.
Plus, this isn't radio.
If we don't think we can understand improv, there. Okay,
perfect.
Got it.
So since I've teed it up, now I don't need it anymore. Okay.
Message received.
So the boys basketball team 7-11. They play on Thursday, February 9th at home against Marshall, 7:30. Then they play Tuesday, February 14th at Waterloo.
Your birthday hairs, Brando.
At the Lou.
Sure.
Let's get a win for HUD.
Yeah. It's the alumni.
How are they doing in the conference?
They're 0-5. They're still searching for their
first win.
Just two chances for them coming up.
This is a good one, yeah. Waterloo.
Are they at Waterloo or at
Marshall,
home?
maybe.
I feel like we played them already.
Are they at Waterloo or at home?
At Waterloo.
Oh, that's going to be a trap. That's a trap game.
It's a
right
barn
there.
burner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although they do have a new gym now, so
it's a hornet's nest down there.
Yeah.
Leading scorers. I don't know if they've updated this in a while, but still Jacob Brabender is 12.9 points per game. Caden Kennedy is 12.6 points per game, and John Vosberg 9.5 points per game.
Those are the same numbers the last 3 times.
They're consistent. They're consistently
they're scoring
hitting
exactly
those numbers.
He scored exactly 12.9 points in a game.
Then on to the girls basketball team, 3-10. They play Thursday, the 2nd of February, at home against Waterloo. And then Tuesday, February 7th, at Marshall, 7:30.
Do you know, did the girls start early this year or the boys? Because usually they flip-flop,
Well,
right?
the boys have played more games. The girls are 3 and 10.
That's why I was asking. That's why I was asking to figure out.
I'm guessing the
if
boys
they-
started earlier.
Okay, I didn't know.
Because the boys are 7 and 11. So they've.
I didn't know if they may not have the same amount of games either.
Oh.
But that's getting close to the end of their
Yeah.
regular season. 7-11. That's 18 games.
Yeah, I bet it is. I don't know if they play anymore. We
20,
used to just play 20.
22.
Yeah, we
something
used to
like
play
that.
20.
22,
Yeah.
But some other teams, like I remember Cuba City, they would be like 22-6 or something. They'd have a bunch of games.
They might play in a tournament or something like that.
There you
Sometimes
go.
they have those.
Intra-season tournament.
Yeah,
And then just an
Speaking of
update
which-
on
that's Cuba City Weekly.
Yeah.
Jared
Pettigrew.
Jared Pettigue's
He's
last
retired.
year.
Long
This is
time.
Let's see if
last
it's
year.
his last year.
The winningest coach in Wisconsin
High school
boys basketball by far. Is anyone ever going to catch him?
I don't know if anybody's going to live that long.
No.
to be able
You have to
catch
live
it.
a long time. And you have to be successful.
You have to be 13
You gotta
years
be
old and
successful
start
to have
right now.
people not run you out of town.
It's like Ricky Henderson's steals record.
Yep.
You'd have to average I think it's like what? It's a ridiculous amount. Sorry, it's a ridiculous amount of stolen bases for like 22 seasons to even come close to breaking it. So anyway,
And then just some updates on scoring and rebounding. Emily Van Netripper is 13.1 points per game and 6.8 rebounds per game.
Wow. Okay.
turning it up.
Yep. And that concludes Wisconsinites Weekly.
Solid.
Very good. Very, very nicely done.
too,
Very nicely done. And boom, boom,
now,
boom.
Before you would tell us stats for some of the other girls that are chasing her on her team, but we don't have any stats on anybody else. Just
is that the same?
That Ripper.
Is that the same sticky note from last week?
No, I saw him writing.
Okay,
it is not. I was just curious, where everybody else
feel
is.
questioned and accountability with the Wisconsin Heights Weekly.
Everybody else wants to do it. Go right ahead.
try to take that pressure on.
Here I came in with a segue, teeing it up.
Yep, that was good. I like that.
Nobody can understand.
Honestly, did you have that in mind, or did that just come to your mind?
Just came to my mind.
Creativity right there.
Well, yeah.
We got to get on to Mazomanie site-wise because there's so much to talk about. I got a bunch of stuff, and I know Jonathan has a scroll there.
John, why don't you tee off Mazomanie site-wise?
You mean site-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see.
So this podcast comes out on the 1st, right?
Sure does. February 1st.
So tomorrow morning, there is the Thursday Knit and Craft at 1855 Coffee House. That's from 9:30 until 11:30. So if you want to get your knitting and crafting on, go on down to base camp at, a little before 9:30.
You know what their slogan is probably? Knit on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe. Same night, so February 2nd.
He's proud of himself.
is paint night at Mazo Hardware.
What?
So tomorrow night. I'm not sure of all the details on what they're going to be painting.
So in the morning, get a little coffee.
Yep.
Get your craft on.
Yep.
Get your knit on.
Yep.
And then head on up.
Get your paint on.
Head on down south.
Yep.
But up the hill.
Side
Oh, that's
up
tricky.
Up the hill. That is
That is tricky.
And what is paint night?
I don't
Paint night
know.
rocks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotta come out here.
I think they're having somebody come out and, run a little
paint workshop.
I think they've done that before with other types of things.
Is it
wreath
crafty
making.
type? Okay, it's not
so.
like learning how to paint a barn or a house.
I don't think
Doubt
so.
Maybe Greg the painter's coming out. Maybe that's who they've got.
Maybe.
Amazing
so that's at
painter.
5:30 to 7:30 Central Time.
And you can spend your entire day in Mazo.
Yep.
Appreciate you doing that Central Time because we have people watching all over the world.
Sure
Global
do.
podcast.
We don't want them to miss out on a chance to get to Mazo if they're trying to get there.
Well, there'd almost be enough reason to come with all that stuff going on, and there's other things.
Full day
slate
of stuff going on there.
Do you have another tea joke? Is that why you have that in your mouth again, or
no? This is just a casualty.
Okay, so then Friday night, every first Friday of the month, they are going to have a music show down at the Mazo Community Building.
Conservancy?
Yep, the Conservancy.
Yeah.
That's Jim Schrader's running that.
Yep.
Mr. Schrader.
You bet.
So not the music. So sorry. Is the Conservancy different from
the community
from
center?
the community center?
I think it's like a group of people.
The Conservancy is a group of people. I think
I want to make
it
sure.
It used to be at the church
That's
just
what I
around
thought,
the corner on Marion Street, but I think that's owned by somebody privately now, and now they do it at the Mazo Community Building.
This starts at 6 p.m. and I tried to look up what this group does, or maybe this person does music, what kind of music they do. But it's Harmony Rose who will be there on next Friday.
Is that a band?
It'll be Friday.
That's what he
Friday.
doesn't know.
I don't know. I looked it up on Facebook and I
didn't find
anything. I found
Harmony
a couple
Rose.
things, but I don't think that was it.
Harmony Rose. So
Yep.
it could be a woman by the name of Rose.
Correct.
Harmony Rose, like
ROSE.
a person that
Or
does
it could
harmony.
be
Or it could
Harmony.
Yep.
No, it's
Rose.
ROSE. It's ROSE. I know
Okay.
it is.
Yep.
It could not be.
ROW.
So it could be a group.
We brought this up a couple weeks ago, meaning I
Never
did.
know.
Don't forget.
We do know.
Don't
we
forget
do.
Okay.
Trivia night. We talked about signing up for that, and I think you could do that at the library.
Not the bank.
Now where it's going to be at the base camp. So
sign up for trivia at base camp.
Nope. I said we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
About signing up at the library.
Okay.
I think it sounds like you can come in. You can come to the door and pay $20 as a group, or you can pay ahead of time. I don't know how much time.
Now the library door or the community side door?
The base camp, like I was saying.
Base camp.
Like I said, base camp. I said that earlier. When
No, but what door do you come up to pay your
the front
$20?
door,
Oh,
the
well,
outer door.
You can go. You can pay at.
I'm assistant principal here, as you've probably noticed from the indications on the door.
This door?
The outer door.
The outer door?
Yes.
Because there's nothing on this one.
You can probably pay both, but I think you can go and sign up at the Mazo Library
Just
too.
about anybody will take your money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say this
Trivia
is what it's for.
Trivia tonight.
So it starts at doors open at 6:30.
What's the $20 for? Is that like a door prize?
I'm getting there.
Oh, sorry.
I'm getting there.
Ooh.
So
Oh no.
so it's at base camp. Still a time to sign up. If you sign up before you go to the actual time at the time, whether it's doors open at 6:30, it changes from $15 a team to $20 a team.
wow.
So you can sign
Early
up early,
bird special,
get
that's what that
$5
is.
off as a team. Trivia questions start at 7, and all proceeds go to the library. Or
Nice.
So,
That's
I
a
guess
good
there's
idea.
not I don't know if there's a winning.
What night was that again?
So if
That
you're
is
generous,
February 4th, which is this next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
you don't sign.
Yep.
You don't
And
do the
don't
early bird
forget
special.
that
if you care about the Mazo Main Library, then you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go to the library.
Yeah.
Don't
You
sign up early.
Sign up early.
Don't sign up.
You don't
there.
care
Take that
about
extra
that.
$5
Yeah.
and sign up
Yep.
not early.
Just
I
do
thought
one of these.
we're so good at trivia. They don't know that if we signed up as a team, we just would wait until we come in the door. So we really make people nervous as we're coming in. They're like, oh boy. They
Here comes
know.
the trivia
Here
guys.
comes the trivia guys. So you pay the extra $20, but then you just go in there and really do well because we're just, as you know, we're really smart.
Also, if you want to, I said this the last time, if you want to practice your trivia, head on over to the Iron Hop Tap
Yep.
House. Every Thursday night, they've got trivia. I don't know what time, but it's at night. So go on over.
Let's head over there
And-
sometime.
Yeah,
Stay for the
you can look it
trivia.
up on their
Yeah.
Facebook page
Yeah.
and stuff. But if you want to get a head start and practice those trivia
skills.
skills,
Yep.
then you can do
Last
it.
thing I'll say, because I know Dad's got a few things. This was posted on what's happening in Mazo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's winter, it's cold right now. You kind of think,
Yeah, it is.
summer's never going to come. But now's the time. If you're probably in high school, probably be fair, or just out of high school, probably is what they're looking for. But the Mazo pool is looking for lifeguards.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So you can contact the village office, and I can give you the number, 795-2100. And the extension is 4.
Wow.
So make sure you hit that extension, 4. And then deadline is February 15th to sign up for that.
Now remember, this is for summer. So
Yeah,
don't try to
don't
get a
try to
head
get-
start,
yeah,
climb
polar
the fence
plunges,
and be
yeah.
sitting there. Nobody's
Yep.
going to be there.
No,
You're
although
not
that
gonna
would be
get
a
it.
really
You
good
practice.
test.
There
That'd
might
be a
not
really
even
good
be water
test
in
of
there.
your
Practice.
your innards, as they would say, is what was his name, Rafter?
Test
would
your
say.
innards.
Yeah.
Yep. Bill Raftery.
Yep. So that's all I've got. But yeah, you've got until the 15th to sign up if you're looking for a summer job, a high schooler,
Trying to
probably
catch a
just
nice
out of high
tan.
school.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, do that.
I got a question for you. It
Ask
seemed
away.
like you and Joe must have had a meeting of the Wisconsinites Weekly people and your team of
Creative
reporters, your creative team, and you guys got together and said, we are going to wow them with our organization and just I mean,
Segues.
it was just perfect.
Segues.
Yeah. Creative segues.
Yeah, I even did the dates in order.
Here's the thing.
I brought a prop too.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing.
I'm a prop comic.
This is a lesson for you. I think you learned it. And that is, if you're prepared, then everything is there for you, and then your creative mind can just work like it did
Yeah,
today.
and if
See how
there's no
good that is?
interruptions too. Well, that didn't happen.
Well, sometimes the information
I
is
didn't
not very
interrupt John.
clear, so
Right,
we
but
have to
this
ask.
time it was. We have to
very
admit. I
clear.
mean, it was.
I didn't
boom,
interrupt
boom,
John
boom.
because guess what? I respect John, and I respect what he does.
No, you're doing it out of spite, not out of
No,
respect.
I'm not. How do you know? Can you be inside me?
Because I
No, you can't.
because you're offended about it right now.
I'm not offended.
All right,
stating
so
facts.
we got more.
Okay, so here's more. First of all, I just want Judy Curtis.
First of all, let's do this.
Okay.
First of all, you were over here. Maybe some people couldn't see you on camera, but you every time John took a second break,
I like that.
he was ready. He
couldn't
and then
wait
he
till
sat,
the
he
end.
sat back, and then he sat back. The second John paused for a second, he was ready to share his.
And the reason
That's
is
how excited you were.
Yeah, and the reason is well, you'll find out what the reason is.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
go ahead. But
yeah,
I just,
no, you're right.
That was funny. You were like this the whole time.
look
You're
at
like,
this.
you're
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And then you sit
I know.
back.
I thought Jonathan was going to bring his normal.
You were off
one
camera.
or two.
Yeah.
I was saying it's great.
You're waiting for the
It's
lights,
great.
so you could bust in.
Yeah.
What I did
comment
this
about
week
the
is I
lights.
prepared the whole week.
I know you did. You did very well.
And-
It was a wonderful job, you
was a
and
great
Joe.
job.
I mean that.
It's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
best- it's
last
the
week I
best one
tried
we've had
to,
so
I
far.
thank you and I
I tried to
bless you.
save a dog. I tried to get it
But it
back
was
to
the
its
wrong
owner,
dog.
but we're so concerned about the color. I mean, the part was just, which is pretty important. In
it
getting
feels like it's important.
That's pretty important.
Yeah.
I was trying to say
yellow.
Somebody who's got a black lab.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
they thought
anyway,
they lost a lab.
Yeah.
So just so the folks at the Mesoamerican Historical Society and everybody that's heard us talk about that, and you're clamoring, you're so desirous of us having Bob Dodsworth and Frank Wolf and some of these guys on here to talk about the history of Mesoamerican. That is coming. We haven't forgotten it. It wasn't a false,
advertisement,
alarm or anything like that. We're working on upgrading our cameras, and we're in the process of doing research, and Hudson's doing that behind the scenes.
We're actually
and that is
in the process of buying it.
Yeah,
right now.
it's on the way, and then we just got to practice a little bit to make sure we don't have them come up here and us spend
waste time,
2 hours with them, and them say, "I'm never going to do that again because we didn't get it recorded."
And you don't want to squash the creative juices that are coming in because of the cameras.
Right. Yeah. We don't want technical things to squash the juices.
Very well said.
Yeah, right. So anyway, that's a little housekeeping. Just one kind of funny thing. I was down at Mix It Up Fitness today, and Jameson Dewar was down there. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him how I was reading and what's happening in Meso, the Facebook, and they were talking about the promenade and how they needed some volunteers. And I thought, I bet Dick Royston, former mayor, is going to be retiring. Yeah. But it said, after a long explanation, it said, contact Dick Royston. Yeah. He's not only going to keep doing it, he's going to be in charge.
Yeah,
he's
not
anybody
to be
can.
in charge.
Not anybody is going to just get a free pass.
I couldn't think of
he's
anybody
outworking
else.
Jerry Pettigrew.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Jerry Pettigue's not the mayor of
No,
Cuba
but
City.
I'm just saying that he's
a lowly
Dick
coach.
Royston just taking him to task here.
Yeah.
I say.
So, just this, next week on the podcast, we are going to do a live / it won't be live, but it'll be a recorded live somewhere else. It's going to be at the 1855 Coffee House. We're going to do a taste test down there with Michelle Van Shindig. Mm-hmm. And we've got it all worked out, all the details. Hopefully it'll work out. And that'll be next week on the podcast, 1855 Coffee House taste test. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to do that. But here's the big news.
Bigger news?
I might cry.
Bigger
I
news.
might shed some tears.
We have our
bigger than Dick
first
Royston? I don't believe it.
local, not reverse sponsor, but sponsor. Our first sponsor.
We should have had some of those.
Yeah, father-son voiceover podcast.
Maybe Damon can put some on us.
And it happens to be the 1855 Coffee House. Mm-hmm. Now, here's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Listen closely.
Listen closely, because we want you to do this. We know that a fair amount of you watch locally, and you go to the 1855 Coffee House to see Michelle and to support that business, that local business. Okay. And so all you have to do when you go in there for a food or drink product, all you have to do is mention that you watch the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast, and Michelle will ring up 10% discount on all food and drink items off your purchase. 10% off your purchase.
Every time?
Every time. Yep.
What a deal.
So
does it matter how many times you say it? So if you say it 10 times,
no, of course not. It's just one time. And
I'm just making sure people knew.
Our viewers are not going to go out, come back in, go out, come back. They're going to.
It wouldn't matter if they did, because they're still going to have to pay for it.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
That's true.
It's the season of giving at the end of January.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Yeah, right.
Shop local.
Yep,
so go ahead. What were you going to say?
Did she give a time frame here? Like from...
Is this limited time only?
February 1st
Not right now.
to...
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You get to go in there and...
I mean, we'll have to announce if she says...
It's ending
She
soon.
says
cut it.
It's done.
Over with.
We're done.
She said
we
she's
don't
done
have
with
a
us.
relationship. We're done.
Stick a
We're not
fork
going
in
to
us,
do
we're
this
done.
anymore. Yeah. But no, she said that's fine. But we're just going to do that. And so remember, 1855 Coffee House, sponsor, the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. All you have to do is go down there and say, I watched the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. Michelle will give you a 10% discount on food and drink items. Not anything in the vault, because those are on consignment.
Yeah.
They're different artists and
she
stuff.
can't
just what
give a discount
just
on
what
those.
she does there with the food and drink. So we're going to mention that again at the end, to
we'll
make
have
sure that we
some other
remind
stuff
you,
going on
and
with
that
that
if
too,
people spin through this part because they don't like this part or whatever, we got to hit them at the end.
Better start liking
that's
it.
big. That's big news. We've talked about this since, I don't know, we started this in April. We probably talked about it since like August about our reverse sponsorship and stuff.
Yeah.
So
John's
we've
got a
one
boat coming
finally.
into port right now.
What's
Sounds
that?
like John's phone sounds like a boat coming into port.
I wonder
It's got
if
a foghorn.
if it's something big that's
Maybe it
coming,
is.
maybe another sponsor.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
too bad that the code couldn't have been
all
like
over the place.
something kind of embarrassing to have to say. You know, sometimes when you go into certain restaurants and they've got, certain menu items that
Code
you kind of
Roy.
go, I don't want to say that. You know, like, I'll have your funky monkey burger. I don't want to say funky monkey.
You just said it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
giving an
It's like,
example.
I don't want to say that.
What if we and I
Or your
wouldn't
gas all night burger or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
would-
like, I don't.
yeah.
Straight to the
I
bathroom.
wouldn't want.
burger.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want. I'd want to kind of do this on the sly, and not have Michelle see this. But maybe we should have it be where they have to go in there and say, Michelle Shindig.
Oh,
I watch the original father-son voiceover.
Is it
podcast.
Van or Vaughn Shindig?
Oh.
It's not Vaughn
Michelle
Shindig.
Van? She's Dutch.
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 Vaughn would be German.
German.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
sorry.
the problem is,
I
she
didn't
didn't
know.
know. She had never heard that if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much, which
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah. Because
'Cause
that's a
she's Dutch.
saying in a lot of places, especially where I went to college, Grand Rapids,
Maybe she
Michigan.
could say we're going Dutch. That
Yeah.
could be it.
We say that sometimes when we go in there.
Yeah,
I'll
let's go
take you over,
Dutch.
we'll
Whenever we go
Yeah.
to 1855, we go Dutch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't.
But
what
we
I'd
each
say.
get 10%
That's
off
what I'm saying.
if we watch
That's what you'd
the
say to her.
original
What if
Father
we
Son
go?
voiceover.
What about
go
us?
Dutch.
Do we watch it?
We are it.
Yeah, I don't think we
Yeah,
want
media
to.
doesn't usually get that.
Yeah, and I
kind of
don't think
stuff.
we'd
too bad.
want to. I don't
Well,
think we want to do that.
Have
we're
10%
just,
off on
just,
us.
Just a reminder: we're going to be down there for a taste test,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to also, and we're not on purpose. We're not telling you when we're going to be down there,
Yeah.
because we know what would happen.
The concern is,
And the police department in Mazo is only so big.
Yep.
And we can't have.
Last week they had a guy with a riot shield, and they closed off the streets.
Was that
and
because we
stuff.
went to
But I'm
meet
saying
with
that that's
the
going to happen
authorities?
again.
They were trying to keep you
People
away.
were trying to get into our podcast. So,
Yeah.
do you have anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a lot of fun.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was
we'll
good.
obviously remind you.
I
and-
enjoyed watching you prior to doing that more than I did
He's
hearing that
giddy.
information.
I'm gonna relax next week.
Okay.
I've always have so many exciting things to share, and that probably is the highlight of the podcast so far. Besides being able to do that with you guys, and to do this each week with you
And
guys.
Roy.
Hey, we have got to get to our brand new segment unless anybody else has
Yeah,
something to
let's do it.
Nope.
Ready?
Yeah.
And now, another edition of The Adventures of Roy from Elroy.
What is that, Roy? Oh, Roy found the vent. And there it is. And there's Roy from Elroy.
Who did those pictures?
Joe Bob did
I
the.
did that.
Joe did the cape with the.
Did
Remember
you
that?
have the one with the antlers on it too, where he's standing on antlers? Did we show that one?
I believe so.
Okay.
There by him.
And then
That's
there's
the logo now. Of
Oh,
it.
That's what I was
okay,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, he drew a
I put the
cape
trademark
it
on
and-
there.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So let's talk a little bit about Roy. A little bit. How's he doing? He sleeps in a kennel / cage.
Yeah.
Hates it.
Thunderdome.
How does he do? Has he improved?
He's getting
We've
better.
had him for
Last night,
week and a half.
2 times this week, he didn't make any sounds while he was in there.
Oh, good
Well,
job,
that we
Roy.
could hear.
That we could
Roy,
hear.
if you're watching this, good job.
Roy is currently in his kennel.
Yeah, we don't know how he's doing now. He could be barking at Roy.
I can imagine.
We left and I didn't hear any barking, but sometimes he waits for a while.
Sometimes he was tired today. He slept most of the time he was here.
Yeah.
He was just...
Well, what happened?
John went on a walk with him this morning. Joe went for a run with him.
Well, think about it. Everything that he does like a dog. Mm-hmm. Works like a dog.
Runs like a dog.
Runs like a dog.
Sleeps like a dog. Eats like a dog.
He's doing everything to the max.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's dog tired now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There you have it. Tell us, Dad. What is
300 views?
Breaking news.
Nice. 300 views.
I wonder who that last.
First.
Do you know who that last viewer was?
No, I don't know.
You could announce it.
We'll give you 10% to the 1855.
This isn't live, is it?
No,
but the point is it's the fastest that we've gotten to 300.
If that 300th viewer, we could give them a stop up here.
Yeah, but I don't know who it would be, and I don't know if they would know.
We don't know.
How would they know?
I don't know.
It's like the caller. Your caller number 8.
We wouldn't know who.
No, it doesn't tell you who the.
No.
We should have counted up all the people before that.
Yeah.
Watch it. It was probably Dad. Dad. No, because when you go into it,
but it doesn't do it after you do it once. Trust me.
Take your coupon.
There you go. Go ahead.
But back to Roy. How's he doing?
Good.
Is he eating fine?
Yeah.
He seems to be. He went to the vet.
Yep. He got a booster shot. I can't remember what the booster shot was.
No, I think it was. He gets his rabies shot here next week.
Yeah,
and that's something else. Maybe it was measles, mumps, and rubella that he got.
But how big was he when we got him? Was
6 pounds?
That was when he was weighed.
That was maybe
a couple
10.
weeks.
Let's say 10. I think 10's a good.
Yeah, he's about 10 pounds.
So I think he was 16 pounds on. What day did you take him to the vet? Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that was a week after we got him.
Mm-hmm. We've been eating well.
So it's only been 10 days since he's lived with us. And who's his favorite? Is it still Joe?
Joe.
Yeah,
probably.
I would think so, yeah. Although Joe puts him in the cage. He doesn't like that.
It's a love-hate relationship between he and
I like
Roy.
coming home and getting him out of his cage, because I look like the hero. I haven't done anything all day, and I just come home and
rescue him.
I rescue him, yeah.
Did you make sure we put that picture of him underneath that little bench that we have?
Those are all in the
hopper.
In the
introduction.
We can show that right here.
The Adventures of Roy.
Yeah, because that he's under the little bench that you can sit on. He's not going to be under there very long because he won't be able to get out from under there or under at all because he'd be too big of a dog.
Especially he grows 6 pounds each week. I mean, lefty.
Have to cut back.
Yeah.
He sits.
Yeah.
And he stays. Whenever he gets a treat, he'll sit. In fact, when you use the bathroom, he always gets a treat when he uses the bathroom outside. And he comes in and he sits right away. And then you say, stay, and put the little treat down there, and he stays pretty good for a little
until
pup.
you say get
Better
it,
than
and then he
any
goes
pup
and gets
I've
it.
had.
And he eats ice cubes now?
Yeah.
I wish we would have gotten a video of his first interaction with an ice cube. We weren't ready for it. He would grab it and play fetch with himself, kind of, and just was all over the place on the hardwood floor.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he knew that he could chew it. I don't think he
yeah.
thought it was a food product, and so he just played with it. Yeah. But then he figured out after about the third one, and then he just eats them now. So
well, there it is. There's Roy from Elroy and his adventures. So now, done with Wisconsin Heights Weekly. Meso-Mani Site-Wise.
Boy, not the opposite.
You guys, it's okay. Messed up there.
Very well done.
But let's move on to Ryan Doescher, second part, since that's what everybody's really interested in.
That's what they care
This
about.
is warm up for it.
Yep. And yeah, so we will move on to part 2 with Ryan Doescher right after this. There we go.
That's okay. We don't claim to be professionals at this. We just kind of muddle our way through. But you grew up on a farm on Highway K, and I was asking about whether that was a family farm or your parents purchased it, and you were saying you lived in Barneveld till how old were you?
Yeah, I think it was like 5 or 6. But at the time, so we were living in Barneveld, and my mom and dad both had farms that they grew up on, which my grandparents were in, which was just outside of town. And my dad, I think my dad's dream was to be a farmer because we were, from the time I was really young, we were raising calves, and my dad was just starting to build, some of the, build like, some of the herd and some of the things from the early on in my life, actually in town.
Really?
Because we were like right on the edge of town, and I think the neighbor had a little space where maybe a shed or something and a little fenced in area. So we were actually like town farmers by raising animals, like raising calves in town, which was kind of unique. So of course my dad, we were spending time going to my grandparents, farming with them. And my dad was constantly looking for a place to buy, that we could afford with, literally no money, looking for a farm that we could afford. So one thing I can say about my parents is, we started from pretty much nothing. So, and my grandparents on my mom's side did a lot to help us, because after we found a place, they were looking to kind of get out of farming some things that was going on with their life. So we were able to kind of merge my grandparents' farm with my parents with the start of our farm. So we were living in Barneveld. We ended up, I think, 11 miles to, it would be to the north on K.
Yeah.
From town.
Huh. I've never heard of a farm starting that way, in town and then taking it to the country. Yeah. That's very interesting.
We were town farmers.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. Now, were you able to play sports? Like some farm kids, when I was growing up, they could only play one sport or two sports. Could you play all three sports, or did you play just two or one, or what did you do in grade school and high school?
Started out basically just one, and I think part of that was opportunity. When I was younger, I think the opportunity when you were, like 8 years old was baseball was like kind of the first opportunity. So Black Earth had some excellent opportunities with their little league, and we had a Bambino or Babe Ruth league that we had there. And so that was kind of first opportunity. I mean, I didn't have a lot of opportunity for like club basketball, I think, or, school basketball until like sixth grade, which I was fortunate enough to have one of my close friends had connections with Middleton. So I was able to play for the Bluebirds at West Middleton when I think I started in like sixth grade. So that was a really unique experience to be able to, travel a little further and play basketball. But that wasn't until sixth grade. But, to answer your question, my mom, I think, kind of fought my dad because my dad, grew up on a farm and he had to do a lot growing up, and didn't have interest in sports and probably couldn't play sports even if he was interested. Yeah. But my mom, it was important to her if we wanted to do something that we were able to do it. So I kind of try to remember that with my kids, because my dad, if it was up to him, he would have just had us, be on the farm, helping on the farm as much as possible. But fortunately for my mom, it was important to her to give us those opportunities.
So when you got into high school, you played baseball, right?
Yep.
And you played basketball, of course.
Yep.
Did you play football?
I played football 2 out of the 4 years I was in high school. Yep.
Now, what year did you graduate from high school?
97.
Oh, 97. Oh, wow. Okay. So was there, I mean, Heights always has had good baseball teams.
Yeah.
And was 96, did you guys have like a state tournament team or did you like win conference, or how did you guys do?
So 95 was the first year I played on varsity. I was the last person cut in 94, which they were really, really good that year. And I was either the last one or two cut and from making the team that year. So I played JV, which was great because I got a chance to play a lot my freshman year. My sophomore year, I made varsity, and we didn't have a lot of seniors. We had a couple really good seniors. We had Jonas Weber and Mike Loger, two seniors that were good players and good leaders. But we had a lot of sophomores and juniors. And I don't think because we were a younger team, we weren't expected to do a lot that year, but we ended up making it to the sectional final, the game before state, and got beat. But the following year, so my junior year would have been 96. We had a lot of returning players that year from a team that was one game from making it to the state semifinal. So there was a lot of expectations, and throughout the year, that year, our ranking was usually like within the top 2 or 3 in the state for our division. And we had pretty much all conference players at every position that year, it was a really special year because I had played baseball with this same group of guys that was coming up in 96, and we won 2 state championships when we were 12 and got to play in Ohio. And when I was 13, we won a state championship and played in Kentucky. Wow. So I played a lot of baseball with that group of guys that was the class of 96. And I think we had 1 or 2 losses, and our expectation was to play in the state championship that year. Yeah. And we got to we made it through the regional, got through the first sectional game, and in the sectional final, we played a team that didn't have a great season. I think they won, roughly half their games, and they threw a pitcher that was just throwing a lot of like knuckleball sliders and curves, and we just never really got in sync, really got in rhythm with the game. It was just one of those games that it just wasn't our day that day. It just, the ball didn't bounce our way. We just didn't hit the ball well. And we ended up getting beat by, I think, 1 run by a team that, was probably had like an average season that was probably peaking at the right time. And we just didn't have a good game. Yeah. So 96, we graduated a great class of seniors. We had, some good players, I would say, at each level coming back my senior year in 97. There was, a couple players, a couple seniors that were on the 96 team that were coming back. And there was actually, I think some juniors that were coming back that were on that 96 team, and maybe even a sophomore that was coming back that might have played. I think Scott Zwetler played and pitched. So we had a couple pitchers. One was a sophomore, one was a junior, a left-handed pitcher, Travis Rush. But I think because we lost so much talent, I don't think the expectations were great. In 97, that was my senior year. We did really well. We lost, it was, in a lot of ways, it was very similar to 96. We stubbed our toe a couple times on, some road games and lost a couple games, but still a great season. And we actually made it to the state championship that year on a year I wouldn't have expected that, after losing most of our starters in 96 to 97. But we had some great younger classmates that stepped up and definitely contributed. And so in that year, things just kind of fell into place more than the year before, where the expectations were much higher. So sometimes when the expectations are high, it gets
pressure.
It's a lot harder to fulfill that.
So you went to the state tournament in baseball, and you went to, and I didn't. So I'm with luminaries here.
But you played against a lot tougher competition.
Well, I don't know.
You didn't have divisions.
Well, my freshman and sophomore year. But nevertheless, you guys both were baseball state tourney people.
I didn't know you played baseball.
Yeah, so I think my expectation, because I was a kid that grew, I grew young, and I think I was probably already by my freshman year was, 6'3" or, 6'2", 6'3" by the time I was a freshman. Probably didn't grow a whole lot after my freshman year, but I think my expectation, because I was always bigger than other kids, was that basketball is going to be my sport. I played, some football growing up and loved it, and played some in high school, but football was one of those sports where I kind of wanted to, just use the fall to get ready for basketball and not be injured or not be, whatever from football. So just based on my size, I think that was my expectation. And middle school had, great experiences that I'll always remember playing basketball. But in the end, I had played baseball, so much baseball when I was younger, and Black Earth had such a great, baseball
history,
Little
and
League,
and
and Babe Ruth, and but yeah, the ironic thing was I always thought basketball was going to be my best sport, but my best sport was probably baseball and football.
Yeah.
And basketball was So I think the thing that I love about Heights and smaller schools that don't cut kids that I think is really, really good is, like in my situation, if I had to pick one sport, it would have been basketball. And likely if it was Middleton or anywhere that had a cut, I probably would have been cut.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it, but I ended up being much, much better and had probably more talent in definitely in baseball. And even in football, I was all conference.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I think it just goes to show you when you're dealing with kids, you just, sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
Your best middle school. And I think you probably told us that when you coached, like sometimes your best basketball players in middle school aren't necessarily the best ones in high school and vice versa.
Right.
So.
And speaking of that, I'm going to come and sit by you for just a second here, because I pulled this out of the...
He showed it to me today.
Of the archives, Treasure. Ryan. And so I marked a bunch of them, but I don't want to take too much time because I want to talk about your career at Olson Toon and your family for a few minutes before we have to end up. That's Jim Schrader. I don't know if you know this. This was from Thursday, December 12th, 1991. And I saved this. There was a whole bunch of things in here. There was Jim Schrader getting an award. He used to be the principal at the elementary school. You went to Black Earth, though.
Yep.
But he was at Mazo. There's all sorts of good stuff
Back
in
when
here.
that was a thing. It's no longer a thing.
Yeah. There's a sad note in here. I noticed that Bob Whipperfirth, who is Rick's dad, and Tim and Keith and Robbie's grandpa, he passed away. They had the obituary in here. They also had the Mazo Market. The Mazo Mini Market was just starting way back then. But this was what I wanted to get to, if I can find it here.
Get a drum roll going.
Here it is. There we are.
Yeah.
So we'll show that picture here.
7th grade.
Yep, that's 7th grade. Yep. Rod Deneau was the 8th grade team, but that was my first year coaching back. I coached some college basketball in Michigan, but then I coached, and I think this was, I don't know if it was at Black Earth or Mazo. We took this picture. You remember all these guys?
Oh, yeah.
So just point to them and see if you can remember them.
Yep. Chuck Hosking.
Yep.
And that was Derek Stotts.
Yeah.
I think is that Hanschke?
Yep, Terry Hanschke.
Terry Hanschke, myself, Kyle Wallace, Michael Brunner.
Yep. Down here is
Matt Ashelman. Jess Toner.
Wow.
Kelly Griego. Theron Springstead. I think that's Joe Reeve there.
Joe Reeve. And who is this here? Theron Springstead. Justin Martin.
Oh, yeah. Justin Martin. That's right.
And it is kind of interesting because you and Michael were the best players on the team. But if you can see here.
Michael Brunner?
Yeah, Michael Brunner. Okay. Yep. You and I are about the same height there.
Yeah.
And the only other person that I had in all the years, 15 years that I coached, was Tyler Barman. He was a little taller than I was.
Oh yeah, Tyler.
But you were the only one I looked eye to eye with. Everybody else was, even Michael Brunner was smaller at that point. Some of these guys got pretty big. Terry Hanschke's is a big guy.
Yeah. Those were.
But I don't know if you remember those days.
I do. Yeah, I remember that if we beat you in horse, we got a T-shirt. That said something about beating coach at horse or whatever. But I can't. Maybe one person earned a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That year, maybe maybe no one did either. But
I started to play one-on-one with kids after that because I think somebody actually did beat me. But then I started playing one-on-one and I was undefeeted then against the 7th and 8th graders. I wouldn't try it now because I get beat probably every week.
There were always guys that would say, "Oh, I can beat you." And it's like, you're underestimating old man skills and strength and everything.
You did a great job because I still think about some of the things that we learned. Just the basics of setting a screen or starting practice with ball handling and just passing and the fundamentals and you taught us for the first time, taught us plays, how to, run a motion offense. So, cause I've kind of dabbled with, coaching my own kids and thought about what I did at that time with what you taught us as what I would want to teach. So funny over, 30 years later that you think back to those memories on coaching.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes you don't
make a big deal.
And sometimes you don't think that way when you're coaching kids. You don't think that some of these kids might remember you and actually, either have a bad memory or have a good memory. Think highly of you, or think, so you do have an effect on people. And I know that one coach just before, in this same paper, it was Eric Ingstefjord's first year at Heights.
Yeah.
The coach that came just before him was Ron Schwartz, and he was my coach.
Yep,
and he was my favorite coach.
Left for Middleton.
Yep. Yeah. And he had a big impact on me. In fact, just a few years ago, we had our 45th class reunion, and we invited he and his wife because everybody just enjoyed him as a history teacher and as a coach. And so that had an effect on me too. So yeah, you're right. But that was a good class. I liked that class. There's some that were not so easy,
Wasn't kids, the next one? Wasn't it the next one that was trouble?
Well, I don't know about that. I won't name any names, but No, actually what happened was I coached, Jim Schrader hired me because he was in charge of hiring the 7th and 8th grade coaches at that point. He hired me for 91. And when my kids were little, I decided, I'm going to just take a little break here. Then in 96, Eric was the athletic director, Eric Ingstefjord, and he hired me. So I came back your junior or senior year in high school and started coaching again. And I was there for 13 years then.
Selfishly, I look back and I think about if we had you in any of our high school, like JV or varsity level, of how much that would have helped, and because my senior year, we made it to the sectional semifinal and got to play at a bigger venue, got to play on one of the Madison schools. I think it was Madison La Follette.
Wow.
And we ended up playing Dodgeville, whose starting five was, ranged from, there was like Wellington, Westhoff, Wire, Hiller, and just phenomenal group of guys that we played in Dodgeville and got beat in the sectional semifinals. So, we did all right, but I always think back about, how we could have been better. And I think about like, if you were coaching us at a higher level, how that could have helped too.
Well, that's very kind of you. I don't know. I probably would have disappointed you.
All right, guys, let's do the fundamentals. Todd, we're juniors and seniors. We need to.
A lot of those things were the same things I taught the college kids though too, because they're able to do things at a higher level than the 13 and 14-year-old kids. But nevertheless, there's so many things that you have to know fundamentally to be a good player, and you never get out of, think about it. You still always do layups. You still always do free throws. You still always do, some sort of ball handling and shooting. There's a lot of similarities, whether you're 13 or 18, but those are very nice words. I appreciate it.
Even as an adult, when you play, I still remember, like some of the things that Eric used to scream during the game, like, during transition, like stop the ball. There's certain things that when you play that I still enjoy as an adult, I still hear those instructions in my mind, like help side defense, like when you're playing, if you're playing man to man and, and the ball is on the other side of the court or whatever, and you're helping. So I still, that's part of the fun of playing as an adult is still, it kind of makes you think back to when you were younger in high school.
Reoccurring
right?
phenomena.
Yeah. So let's transition here just a little bit. Did you go to I'm leading into the Olson Toon years, but did you go to tech school or college, or did you go right into the workforce?
I went to UW La Crosse, and I had thought about playing sports there, but I think once I got there and, bigger class size and the adjustment of a larger campus, I was, used to Wisconsin Heights and, obviously a small school where you couldn't get lost, you knew everyone.
Yeah.
I think the adjustment in college was just a little bit more than what I felt I could handle playing a sport in school. So I went to UW La Crosse. I ended up finishing at UW Platteville.
Okay.
But I got a 4-year degree. My degree is in business. But
nice.
The thing that I liked about Platteville is it was a little bit smaller than La Crosse, and it had like an agriculture program, and they were just starting like a landscape design program. And I kind of felt like I really enjoyed working outside. I really enjoyed my summer job. I enjoyed farming. Landscaping was a lot like farming, and it is kind of part of the agricultural, part of kind of like the egg industry in some ways, because you're growing, planting, whether you're planting seed or putting plants in trees, whatever. So it is part of the egg industry. So the nice thing about Platteville is they did have some horticulture and they had some landscape design, and I was able to take Platteville was a really great school, and they would let you, if you were in business, or they would let you take ag classes, or you could take a construction management class. So that's the thing that kind of drew me toward Platteville, and I got my general eds out of the way and finished my last 2 years at Platteville, where I could take classes between ag and I could take business classes.
Yeah. So just real quickly, because I want to hear just a little bit about your family that you have. What year did you start working at Olson Toon?
I started in 2006.
And now what is your position? Because you've worked your way up the ladder here, haven't you?
Yeah, Vice President of Operations. So the people that I report to are the owners. Which is nice.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
So 2006 to 2023, what is that? Do the math. How many years have you been there?
17.
Wow, 17 years you've been there. Good for you. And
doesn't seem like doesn't seem like it's that long.
Yeah.
But when I look back, I started there before having kids, and it's been fun.
You've told us so much about your wife, but I don't even know her name. What is your wife's name?
Katie.
Katie. Okay. And you have how many children?
We have three kids.
Okay.
Yep. Three girls.
And three girls. Tell me their names, ages, and maybe just a little bit about what they do, where they're going to school and stuff like that.
Ava's 14. She's a freshman at Heights.
Okay.
And her big thing is she loves to go and watch high school sporting events, but she doesn't play sports currently. Her thing is like riding horses and equestrian.
Nice.
And she is starting to do some barrel racing. So she's starting to compete, doing barrel racing, and they have another racing event which is similar to barrel racing, which is poles, which you kind of race. So she's already looking ahead to the summer at different events that she can ride.
Nice.
And our middle child is Kylie, and she is she's very, very bright, is doing very well in school, loves volleyball like her mother. Like my wife played a lot of volleyball. She was a lot more successful than I ever was, actually. So I could actually fill a whole podcast talking about her volleyball career easily. She actually ended up playing a lot of club volleyball all over the country, and walked on at UW.
Wow.
And that was back. That was in the Pete. She played under Pete Waite, but they had a good program. They actually, the year she was on the team, they lost to Nebraska in the national championship, which was kind of special when Wisconsin beat Nebraska, a season or two ago here recently. So anyway, so Kylie loves to play volleyball.
Nice.
Is doing really great in school. Kylie just recently turned 13. Our youngest one, Jillian, is 7, has a birthday here in February, and will turn 8. And she's playing basketball, loves basketball, but her number one thing is definitely volleyball. So she goes to all all the elementary, all the middle school, all the high school practices and everything my wife does, camps. And she actually has gone to the Wisconsin volleyball camps, and she loves volleyball like more than anything. And just
that's what you need.
Well, I'm marking down Katie.
Yeah.
We're going to see if she'll ever come on.
Yeah.
And I know Gary.
Yeah.
I see Gary driving by all the time, and I said I got to get Gary's because I'm sure he has quite a story. So.
And he's got some funny things to mix in, like in different. We've spent time doing projects together.
Uh-huh.
He's told some funny stories, like one time when he was working on a project with his family, and I think he was working at his brother's house, and one of his nephews was younger, doing some work. They were doing a project, and his nephew fell through the attic. Like while they were working. So he's always got a funny story.
Yeah.
So, and he, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, Gary, both educators. So he has a lot of funny stories about like staff and pranks and different things that they did. Cause when we're working, he'll tell us a funny story about how they pranked like the custodian, or how they pranked another teacher or a student, or so he's always got some really funny.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to end here, but who knows? I mean, maybe we'll invite you and Katie to come back. Maybe you can come and make her feel at home. And then I don't know, Gary's probably good enough to come on his own. I talk with him all the time at the hardware store, back and forth. So
yeah, he is. Yeah. And he, like I said, I mean, he's got some funny stories, and he's just, I think the thing about him that I respect a lot is like anything we do, he seems to kind of have a way in his mind to figure out how to do it. Or if he can't, he'll YouTube it.
Yeah.
But he's not afraid to like, if it's like put a window in or trim up, or, he knows how to do most things. And if he doesn't, he'll ask or he'll learn. And he's helped us, do a lot of things that way.
Yeah.
That the way I grew up, my dad worked off the farm, and we worked on the farm, and we were just kind of always working. And when it came, like if the roof needed to be replaced or if something needed to be done, my dad had friends or whatever in different trades. And that's kind of the way we got things done with the house or the farm or whatever. But not saying that we do all the roofing and stuff like that with our house, but Gary is not afraid to like just dig right in, and he knows how to do most things. If he doesn't, he learns. So
well, maybe what we'll do is we'll send you home with something from us saying, "Would you come on sometime?"
Bribe.
Oh, yeah,
a bribe.
I want to we've just got a minute here. I want to give you this. This is our famous
coupon.
Original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast coupon.
Dad,
and there's
dreamt that up.
Yeah, it's just goofy, but you can take some stuff there. Some prizes, some take-home prizes. And then we want to get a picture of, I think maybe YouTube, Ryan and I, if you don't mind.
Cool.
So I'm going to give you this, and then we'll get a picture. Thank you for
thank you guys. This has been fun.
Yeah.
And, after having lost my dad, I think one thing that I wish in my life I could have had something like this with a memory of my dad.
Yeah.
So I think... Like you think about things like that. I think once you lose somebody that you're that close to, that things like this are more important than what you think.
Yeah.
So,
but thank you.
Thank you guys for the opportunity to come. Yeah.
Good to have
do
you here.
this.
Appreciate it.
Because it's always fun to document things or chronicle things and have that as keepsake for your family or whatever.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Ryan Doescher.
Part 2.
Killed
it again.
Now friend of the podcast. He has confirmed that he and his wife have watched this in their family. And we are going to someday be in contact with his father-in-law and his wife and see if they'll come on talk, because they're fascinating people.
Yep.
And they can fill up the time too. So we appreciate it. We're going to call you Dash. Because that's what the
closest people.
Your friends call you
We're
Dash.
kind of a nickname podcast here because Jet.
That's right.
Jerry and Jet. And
Mayor.
The warden.
Yep.
Michelle Van Shindig.
Yep. Here's Brando.
What was Jamie Lucy's? Well, maybe I shouldn't go in there.
Juice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Juicy Lucy.
Nice.
Yep.
We might have him on again sometime soon.
Yeah, I think we have some plans for that.
That's no Mike.
That'd be nice.
Next week, the taste test is going to be in the middle portion.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Taste test down at
the
1855 Coffee House.
Avocado toast.
Yep.
A breakfast sandwich. Do we know what's on the breakfast sandwich?
I don't know for sure. I think it's just an egg and a bagel, I think. Maybe a little bit more. And then there's the 1855.
They have ham, I think.
1855
morning buns,
breakfast sandwich or something. And that's like some garlic sauce, egg, tomatoes, cheese.
Maybe it's aioli sauce.
Yeah,
that's
what I said.
It is aioli.
Aioli.
Can you say that without a
aioli?
And then we're gonna have like
cannoli. It's aioli.
Like a ham and white cheddar cheese lunch sandwich, and then a turkey
dinner
slaw.
Turkey slaw. What's that?
I told you John's got a ship coming into port.
Maybe you should check that.
No, it's
okay.
So friends to go out to lunch sometime.
Oh wow!
I group text.
I wonder if they heard you're doing so well on this podcast that you're starting to get popular.
Are you going to 1855?
I don't say
that. Yeah, tell your friends.
Listen, that's the other thing we want to remind. Well, you don't want me to remind him?
Yeah, I do. No. I said yeah.
Okay, so we're having the taste test. Yeah. That'll be next week during the middle part where Dash was, where our interview is. And don't forget, if you go down to the 1855 Coffee House, they are a sponsor of ours now, a real sponsor, not a reverse sponsor, a sponsor. Just say, hey, Michelle Van Shindig, we watched the original father-son voiceover podcast. We want 10% off on this purchase of a drink and or food item.
I'm sure anything resembling that will probably work.
Yeah.
Although I tell you what, if she wants that verbatim, I don't know.
No, I don't think. She's
easy going.
She is.
Those Dutch are easy going. You know,
she just wants your money.
Yeah. So
that's a joke. She can take it.
And I will remind you one more time.
Yes,
because this is big news.
It is big news. We're happy.
Yep.
All right.
We've got
the Wonder Wheel.
I'm still thinking about those breakfast sandwiches.
From 1855.
Yep.
And ham Sammy too.
Oh,
ham Sammy.
Oh, nice.
Juan.
One is this may be hard, so we'll see. We might have to do a second one.
Sure.
Best haircut story.
I got one.
Best haircut story.
Yep. So sophomore year, high school, I used to get those bowl haircuts, and they were.
We might have a picture of
low. It was low. It's like a 1 and a 2 if you're cutting with a.
Yeah.
What do they
short.
And no
short,
fade.
Yeah.
No fade at all.
It was just straight razor. And then
that was a little bit the style, wasn't it?
I don't. No, okay. not the way that we were doing it.
It was John's style.
I feel like most of our haircuts were whatever style you were interested in.
Yep.
Never got a mullet, though.
Nothing like a 60s haircut.
I only had a buzz. You had to get a buzz or a bowl. That's basically
there wasn't much styling going on.
No, that's all I had.
Unless, for me, I'll keep that though.
Oh yeah.
But I was getting on the bus and Butch.
Not the haircut.
Huh? Not the haircut Butch, but the bus driver Butch. He used to drive for all.
Butch Thorson. You bet.
He used to drive all the time for our baseball and basketball games. Great guy. Got us to where we needed to.
Never had an accident. Got there.
Well,
fast.
He had an accident.
Okay.
Yeah, there was an accident at River Valley once. That's a good story too. But
amusing.
Anyway,
stories.
I got on the bus and he said something to the effect of basically, do you like your haircut, or tease me a little bit about my haircut. And it's a guy that was at that time probably in his 60s.
mid 50s.
Okay, way off. He
late
had
50s, maybe.
gray hair or whatever. So I probably had a hard time telling what age he was. And needless to say, there's a few guys, upperclassmen on the bus who had heard it and probably were thinking the same thing. And I never got that. Let's just say I never got that haircut again. So
that was a good thing, probably, though.
It was a good haircut.
It wasn't a
story, I guess.
Yeah, but it was a good thing that they teased you because then it didn't happen again, and that's how you learn that those things aren't.
Yeah, no,
the
I
right
mean,
thing.
no, yep, not a problem.
I broke the.
He wants to change the number. He doesn't want to talk about his haircut story.
No, I used to have some nice hair back in the day. But we were going to one of John's college basketball games one year, and Dad was gone at work, and you guys were gone at school, and Mom said that I had to get a haircut, and so in our family, you don't let Mom cut your hair because it's not good. She's not a very good hair cutter.
It's even worse than my haircuts,
yes.
right?
Not again.
And she was trying to cut my neck, the hair on my neck, and it ended up coming all the way back to like this bone up here.
Oh, tough.
And I had to wear a hat so that I could hide it.
I thought you wore also like a headband.
I think I did. I think I wore.
So high,
I think she made up a name about she called it a pineapple, which I've never heard of that haircut. I think she was trying to sell you.
There is one. It's kind of a shorter on top, and they get like
look that up, Joe.
Pineapple haircut. Oh, you've got one right here.
It didn't look like
Danny Asic didn't look terrible in it, so I'm not throwing him under the bus. But he would get a pineapple kind of, and it would be this stuff, frizzy stuff up on top.
Pineapple to me would remind me of what the old monks would get, or the whatever monks, whatever. They get the.
You didn't spell it right, but that's okay.
The hole cut out of the top, and then
that looks like a pineapple.
Well, it's at least circular.
Oh, well, that's not
like if you were to cut it up.
That's not what it looks like.
No, that's not the old.
There it is, right there.
No, that's not the old kind.
There it is. Maybe probably more like that.
Kid right
there.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looks like that.
Yeah. But that's what she was claiming your hair was, and it was basically she just had butchered your hair and called it a pineapple.
Were you playing basketball? Because your coach could have used your back of your head as a whiteboard.
Yeah, true.
Not at that point.
Okay.
Dry erase.
Could have also used it to get the sun in people's eyes if I was out on the baseball field.
Good point.
There you go.
Glare. Anyway, that's my story. It's not great. But.
That's good. It's your story. Hey, it's your story.
I hope he has the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, me too.
Me?
Yeah, it's your
turn,
turn.
man.
You have to remind you guys have a story
well, it's
for me.
your story, but we'll
go ahead.
remind
You can do yours and we'll tell ours.
I can't remember any ones.
You don't have any?
Joe, park your bike.
Yeah, park your bike and take off your helmet.
No, yeah, okay. So it wasn't really a haircut story. It wasn't really a haircut story because
it was the need.
It was needing a haircut.
I was needing a haircut. It was kind of
right away. I looked at Drew. I knew what he was
Did you think about that right away?
That was exactly what I was thinking.
It was kind of the in thing to do. I think it was like that. This was the time when like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was out, and so that was kind of the cool thing to grow your hair out and kind of have it like shaggy kind of.
Yeah.
But mine doesn't grow like that. It just gets like more like a helmet. It looks like a helmet. And so Drew said to me one time, I think you were saying we need a haircut, and I was like, I think I'm good or whatever. Yeah. And then Drew said, well, you need to park your bike and take off your helmet. So
it was really good. This was one. How old were you? Like 16, maybe?
Yeah.
Pretty good comeback for a 16-year-old.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you were kind of doing
what he
your.
would have said at 16 years old.
Yeah, I think you were kind of doing your complaining, like I don't want to get this haircut.
Yeah,
I just
nobody's listening.
People are teaming up.
So anyway, I can take off your helmet.
Anyway, that's what happened.
Well, your hair would get so thick right in that area.
I can't do anything about that.
Yeah,
you have a very nice head of hair, though. I mean, you
I
have
wish
good
you would
hairline.
give me some of
You're
your
a good
hair.
hair grower.
Yes.
Like your grandpa.
Yep.
Yes.
Like
Always
your grandpa
been.
Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's my story.
A really nice, not a lot of hair on my neck.
Yeah. That's your hair.
Not on the top of my head.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Drew. Let's hear your story.
Mine would probably just be, John would call it the Jenna Turk haircut. There was a girl in his class that had a haircut. I didn't want Dad to mess too much with my hair because I don't know, I thought it looked okay. And so somehow, I don't know how, but I convinced you to kind of cut my hair with scissors, right? And you would just use your hand as a guide. That was embarrassing. So anyway, I did that. I don't think that was around the same time I was wearing some man jewelry.
Yeah,
That's
what I was going to say. I didn't want to bring it up.
Was that the time that you had seen? Never mind, forget it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that time. Maybe another time.
When I was young, they had what was called a trim comb, and all it was a circular device with like tines comb, like a comb type thing, and then just a razor blade. And just take big hunks out of your hair. People who are old like I am might remember that, but it might have been a Ronco trim comb. But I have a couple, several. Sorry,
one
real quickly. Real quickly. My dad, one time when I first had my license, I was kind of touching my hair up like this, and he said, 2 hands on the wheel, pretty boy, which is what I needed.
fair.
One.
That's
Yeah.
That was fair, definitely. I mean, I was driving his car.
But fair.
I was driving his car, and I was driving their lives, my parents' lives.
And driving him crazy, probably. Too.
One time, I think it was you. Didn't you shave Deshaun's head?
Oh,
Yeah.
And then you did something.
He bicked it, which is just using a razor to get it really.
Yeah.
And I
then
don't know if they used any sort of.
I don't
something
know.
happened to it, but it was like, I don't know what it was. It was
Scaly.
like,
I bet you they
what
were
was it?
ingrown hairs.
Scaly.
Scaly. It was like almost a plastic
Yeah.
hood he had on his head.
razor burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that for several weeks. I don't poor kid. And then the one I think about, sorry, Joe, but what I would do when these guys came home, they'd get their pictures at school. And they'd come home and you had an opportunity to see if you wanted to accept that for your school yearbook picture. This is when you guys were little. And sometimes you wouldn't do very good because your hair was messed up or something. And I just go, retake. That meant you got to go back and get a retake.
Look at it.
And I said that to Joe one time. He got bothered. But then another time, Mom tried it. She was so mad at him.
She said retake to him.
The only time she ever did it.
Yeah.
And you got really mad at her for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our haircut stories. Good job.
Speaking of
My haircut stories are dwindling.
Yeah, I hear you.
Speaking of getting your picture at school, like what would be so difficult to just have your parent right behind the camera person, and you think about this, just take a quick peek. They developed these pictures and send them to you.
Was it that way though when we were like in elementary school? Did they have those kind of cameras that you could look at it?
Probably using.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Not
when I was in school, and they would send a note like a week or so ahead of time and say this day, and girls would get dressed up in a dress, and we might even wear a tie when we were real little, but we always forgot and sent you guys off. Your hair was probably all over the place.
They gave you a comb.
Yeah, but
That doesn't seem to do any
that
good.
everybody was using, and then they
Yeah.
wondered why you had lice. But there are times where you would sit there getting your picture taken, and it's just 1, 2, 3. It's not like you had to sit there for 45 seconds. And sometimes you'd look at the picture and you go, I was sitting still. Like, when did they take this picture?
They would have you do all these
looking
things
like
but
this.
it's
You had to
just-
go
it's-
kind of like this with your neck, and you're kind of like, well, wait, I'm not looking at the camera.
It's like when you go to the DMV and they go, take a
1,
picture,
2,
1, 2,
3.
and they hit you at 2.
Right, or they hit
2
you
and a half.
right when they said 1.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and so
you just get
you're
that
getting
every
prepped.
So every person looks like if a cop pulls you over, everybody looks like a terrible person.
Looks like a mug shot. Yeah.
You must be selling drugs on the side. That's how my permit went. I was like this, like I was asleep in my picture. Terrible. All right, my turn.
All right.
Spin that wheel. 1.
Favorite subject in school? I'm thinking you can do great. Well, any school you can do. Whatever school. Great. You all went to college. We all went to college. And
Some of us
we went,
graduated,
of course,
some of
to
us didn't.
elementary school, grade school, and high school. So,
Dad didn't.
what was your favorite, Hudson?
Boy. Favorite class. I'm going to say I really liked, we had wildlife management. And then we also had, so Kim Hauser, shout out. She might be a guest at some point.
Yeah.
I had 2 classes with her. I had wildlife management, and then I had greenhouse management.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked those because there wasn't a lot of homework, 1, and the stuff you did was kind of practical. We went out and took care of plants and stuff like that. We sold them at the end of the year at the Van Garden, but also the wildlife management, we learned how to score antler racks and deer racks or whatever you want to call it. And we taxidermied a fish. I like fishing and outdoor stuff, so that was a lot of fun. So I'd have to say those two, that or her classes, I would say.
Did you like it because it was kind of a hands-on rather than more just a mental writing computer type thing? It was more doing something.
Well, and the
practical?
homework was going out and catching a fish so you could taxidermy it or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was I liked those because there was more. Yeah, it wasn't so much like math. It was like, oh, you're not smart enough for this class or whatever. And there it was like, well, can you just water a plant or anyway?
Yeah.
Manual labor. You like those?
Yeah.
Those
Well, I don't get the nickname meathead for nothing.
No brain, no pain.
Well, but you liked fishing, but you haven't ever
I wasn't
hunted,
a big,
have you?
Not really. I'm not a big school guy.
Yeah.
Sports was most of the reason why you did it, of course, and
Big school.
but those classes made it fun, bearable, and we had a good group. So anyway,
I would probably say I really enjoyed 8th grade English class with Michael Dahlman.
yeah.
He made it fun.
Like what were some things that
We did
remember
like
some things he did?
mythology and stuff like that. That was it was interesting. It was fine. Whatever.
He got into it.
But he got in. I mean,
Yeah.
it was more of him, I would say,
Yeah.
than it was necessarily
He
the
was the teacher.
topics.
Yeah, he was a
and
great
he made
teacher.
it interesting, and he was excited about it, and he brought it almost every day when I remember.
Wouldn't he sweat?
Yeah,
sometimes,
sometimes.
too?
And
He
but I
really
mean, he was
got
just
it.
he was just into it, and he was excited. Yeah, he was excited, and
He would kind of act sometimes, like, and he just was good.
and he
at
was
it.
funny.
Yeah.
He was funny too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like like I'd say like Mr. Cole. He was more of like a sarcastic funny, which I didn't
Very
mind.
dry
humor, which I didn't mind. But like I just thought that I would say that Michael Dahlman was more like a physical. He was just he was active and he would say things that were funny and so anyway.
So did you have Dahlman?
Yep.
We all
I
did, too.
think he's the first year I was there.
Oh, you all had. Okay, you all had Michael Dahlman.
Because Mr. Keene was there the year before I was there, so he left.
Rogers Keene.
Wow, he was in the school district a long time too, wasn't he?
But yeah, and then for some reason I really understood. I was fine at math and stuff like that, but I really understood chemistry. I don't know why. At least the chemistry I was taught from Dan Juergens,
Dr. J.
Dr. J.
He's overseas right now.
He
but
watches
he
the
watches the
podcast, yeah.
podcast.
Yep.
Mr. Juergens.
So anyway,
And
I mean,
he's gonna
he was a
be
good teacher,
hopefully,
and he was a good teacher, and I, for some reason, just this kind of clicked with me to understand that. So I don't know why or whatever, but I always thought it was interesting. So
It just did. No rhyme or reason.
Dan Juergens is going to be a podcast guest.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
He gets back.
better be.
Yeah.
I mean that's probably would be mine as well. I enjoyed 8th grade English class with Mr. Dahlman. I'll be relatively short, but I always was really good at math. I could always understand it, and there was something to it where it just always made sense. You could get to the bottom and it was correct, and then you go back up and it was
It's logical. You're a logical guy.
Yeah, I liked math. I'm trying to think if I had a specific math teacher that I really liked.
Purdy?
Yeah, I think I liked Mr. Purdy. I don't think I liked him. I liked him. But yeah, math I enjoyed throughout. Every once in a great while, there'd be a section that you would do, not a full chapter, but a section in the chapter. It's like, I can't get my head wrapped around this. But that was so few and far between. Did you ever have any of those in math?
You know which
Where
ones?
you run into one, you're like, I can't figure this out. So,
there was-
and as soon as we ran into math that didn't have numbers, I said, I'm out.
Well, imaginary numbers was the worst one for me.
Oh, okay.
And they would talk about it's like
Use your imagination.
But the one that really got me, the subject, I'll just say this once, was
Are we coming back around? Do you need to go?
well, you asked him, so I thought I'd give mine.
We're just playing
just
loose
teasing,
fast
No,
enough.
I got you.
Okay.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
For the life of me, couldn't figure that out for some reason. And it was my first year at public school, so that might have been some of it.
Pythagorean theorem.
This is
Yeah, you're right.
Pythagoras. But I could not figure it out. And now, like, I look back and I'm like, what was wrong with me?
You got it figured out.
I
now?
did.
What you're doing
Yeah, what are you doing then?
Problems?
I actually used
Wouldn't hurt to go around second time for all of us, probably.
All right.
Yeah, now they got new math.
Oh, yeah.
There's old math.
You know, it doesn't it almost seem like Matt Wick, who's a computer guy, says for coding, coding as far as computer coding,
yep.
you either can code or you can't. And it seems like and math teachers might disagree with me, so I'm not a math expert at all, but it almost seems like some people's brains just kind of have it naturally and it makes sense to them and it works. Mm-hmm. And I was really, really good, and this is going to sound funny, I was really, really good with the 4 things, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Really good at that. I still am. I'm really good at that. After that, like 6th grade, just...
You were out.
I mean, I did it. I passed. But it was not fun. No. It was not good.
It also doesn't help that some of us were in school to do more than just do school.
Well, my favorite subjects were gym, recess, and lunch. Mm-hmm. And I excelled in
those. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I wanted to do 3 things, actually 4 things, radio. I wanted to be a history teacher because I liked history. I wanted to be a police officer, and I wanted to be a professional athlete. When I found out I couldn't be a professional athlete, only 2 things held me back: talent and opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I really thought I wanted to be a history teacher, and I think it was because I liked my history teachers all the way through. I had good teachers, a lot of subjects, but my favorite coach was Ron Schwartz, and he was my history teacher for 2 years, and so I think that blended together that I liked him, I respected him, I had a relationship with him. And
when you probably wanted to be that to other kids,
I think
to
probably,
students,
I think that's true.
I want to be Mr. Schwartz to other people.
Yep. Did you ever have Pete Priegel?
Yeah, I had Pete Priegel.
History,
I liked,
wasn't he?
Yeah, more social studies type things when I was in school.
There's a difference.
Okay. 20th century.
I liked a lot of my teachers. I had lots of good teachers.
Current events.
Ron Schwartz just
on a film strip.
Yeah, that's old school, isn't it?
Yeah.
I gotta leave some time for John. Yeah, we gotta wrap things up here. So
floor.
Go ahead, John.
Give him the floor.
So I would say
because Hudson might have to have jump in too.
Give him the chair.
I would say kind of the same thing that Dad was. It kind of depended on the teacher, and I guess you guys were saying that too. But I wasn't very good at math. There was one math teacher. I'm blanking on his name. When I went to college, that I had to take one math class to graduate, and I took it, and it was almost like he wasn't that good at it, which sounds bad. Like he wasn't that great at it. It wasn't a very high math class. Let's just say that. But he understood. It seemed like that there's people that didn't like it, and that he could teach it. What should I say? I think he was good at math. I'll go back, but he knew that there are people that didn't like it, and he knew how to teach people that didn't like it, and they didn't put too much pressure on.
That they weren't going to be a math teacher.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't that much pressure.
I thought maybe he wasn't very good either, and you were just a part of his math journey.
He was good. I liked him.
Yeah,
I'm not good at this. You're not good at it. Let's just do this together.
But growing up, I think like Mr. Feltz, he was my social studies teacher in 7th grade, and then
what was his name? Dan
Carl Feltz.
Carl Feltz.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dan Feltz.
Yeah, Dan Feltz.
Carl Feltz, big time basketball
Jason
coach.
Spielberg.
Black Earthman.
Yep.
When Marty Kramer was at
Does he have more wins than Jerry Pettigrew?
Huh?
Does he have more wins than Jerry Pettigrew?
No. But I'll tell you, big time competition.
Yeah, but how many big games has he won?
He won a lot of big games. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, sorry, Johnny.
Not a lot of guys. Amazing when Todd was playing.
I liked chemistry too because Mr. Jurgens made it fun and it was more simple than I
thought. That was his wheelhouse. I thought that was his wheelhouse too.
In my mind, I did pretty well in that.
He would talk to us about it.
Yeah,
and he was like, I wasn't great at chemistry, but I also wasn't. I wasn't a good student. I wasn't a good student in that class. I wasn't trying to learn chemistry. I was more about having a good time. So,
and then I liked. Anatomy and physiology, just because that's kind of what I wanted to do, something which I didn't end up doing, but when I was going through school, I wanted to do something in the medical field, and anatomy and physiology always came pretty easy. And then when I got into college, after you get through those gen eds, there was biomechanics and exercise physiology, and I really liked the teacher in that too, so that was nice.
Who was the teacher for anatomy and physiology?
Miss Kozlovsky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jurgens took it over
as well
when I was in school.
Hey,
it's kind of scratchy in here, in the sound here. Sorry.
we got to wrap this up, and the reason is we're running out of time, and we just heard that our
It's kind of crackling a little bit.
pizza came.
Mm-hmm.
We're having pizza tonight.
Yeah.
And so we do want to thank you for spending time with us.
Thank
We
you, and
really
bless you.
appreciate it. We really do. We really appreciate your time that you spend with us. We don't take it for granted. When we're out and about, people say hi to us, and that's always fun. We want to say thanks to Ryan Doescher, for part 2 today, spending time with us. We want to say thank you
To Michelle.
Van Schindig
Sponsor.
for sponsoring.
10% off if
Don't
you
forget.
say.
It's possible
say
she
that-
doesn't
You
even
say it
know
this
how
time.
big
Hey,
of a sponsor
10%
she
off.
No, she probably does. She'll probably get tired of it.
is. Yeah.
10% off at the 1855 Coffee House on all food and beverage items. If you say, I watched the Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Or something along those lines.
I was sent by or I was said to say this.
And if you're a business owner and
do
you
you think
want
you
to
thought you
be a
heard?
part of this big growing podcast family and have your name, I mean, start at the grassroots. That's where you want to be.
Bottom
You
up.
want to be
Start from
you
the
want to be able
bottom.
to say, I was the first or second or third sponsor of this huge podcast. That's
Got
what
it
you
on
want
the
to do.
ground
And
level.
we do give local businesses a leg up on the competition.
Nice.
If we've got these big, lots of big different businesses coming at us, we say, nope, we want local businesses first.
Yeah, Cabela's and stuff.
Coke.
We're not, Coke,
we
stuff
don't-
like that. You come first before them.
Yeah.
So, and thanks for
Unless
Roy
it's-
for being part of our
Yeah, Roy.
thanks for-
Lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Barking
And
your
thanks
head
to
off
all
right
of
now.
you guys.
Did you talk about commenting, and subscribing?
Nope, I didn't.
You
Thank
just
you for
did.
bringing that up.
There it is.
Oh, hey. We're at 98 right now.
We are.
As
Get
of-
on the train
It's like we got 5 or 6 of them
to
this week.
100.
Thanks.
Probably all because of Ryan.
Would
Yeah.
we know the
Yeah.
subscriber?
Roy
the
Meyer
100th?
commented.
Would we
Roy
know the
Meyer,
one-
my buddy, Roy Meyer, my
school.
classmate.
Yep.
Would we know?
Thanks, Roy.
Maybe
who-
Kettle
we should
will,
write
too.
down the
Gotta tell
98
Kettle.
subscribers so that when there's 2 more unique ones, we could celebrate the 100th.
Ooh.
Problem
What
is,
do you think about that?
Problem is with that is some people have their settings so that you can't see when they subscribe. So we might be able to know half of them, but there's
Half
a
of
lot of them that,
98.
that
Half
don't.
of them more than we would like to, and
Yeah.
the other half less than we would like
Yeah.
to.
I know you half as well as I should like, and I like half of you half as well as you deserve.
Is that the exact
I
quote?
think it
We'll
pretty
play
much
the clip
is.
here and we'll see how
Anyway,
Watson did.
thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. And this has been the 43rd episode. And we will see you next week with our taste test on episode 44. So see you then. Are you dying to see more content like that? Check out the video over here or subscribe over here. Thanks.